So I have something pretty profound that I want you to understand that is going to hopefully take you in a space of peace. I'm going to talk about Christ, his journey, whether you're a Christian or not, is going to be irrelevant at this point. I'm going to talk about the actual steps and what happened in his lifetime here and what's going to happen with other things going on that you can go into a space of peace. Yes, we're going to have some real challenges coming. They don't have to be negative. They're going to be transformational. Are you ready for transformation? Yes, it's good. It's good. This is what you came here for. I know. Really? Yes, really. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through fears and live an amazing life. We've got some maintenance going on out there. I'm going to keep going because this is an important conversation. Whether you are Christian or not, I'm going to address just the steps of Christ as the person and the prophet. So we're not going to go into religion. You know I'm not into religion. I'm into the fact that there are no rules, there are no limits. There is just creation, experiences, expansion, and unconditional love. And everything that we do and experience that seems to be the opposite of that is the contrast that allows us to know what we are. This is not easy because that stuff hurts, and it feels really good to go into unconditional love and not having to pay bills or have illnesses, but you didn't sign up for that. You signed up for all the challenges. This is what we're going to talk about today because there's a transformation happening. And if you shift into this, it'll become so crystal clear for you, you'll be able to handle anything that's coming up, because I talk about big events that are going to start to happen, much bigger ones. We've had constant events. The big event truly for 2023 and beyond is this constant evolution of everything that's been in place that doesn't work. Why? Because we're making higher choices. We're not going to pollute the planet. We're not going to put garbage into our bodies. We're not going to use toxins in our homes. We're going to treat animals and nature with respect. We are going in that direction. You may not be seeing it. It is happening. But I'm counting on you. Now let's talk about what's happening right now and how we have to look at, we'll use Christ today, one of the most powerful people on the planet. You might say the most powerful. His message was so amazing for all of us. And that was that he showed and demonstrated unconditional love and forgiveness in the worst of circumstances. He demonstrated that it could be done. Now, I want you to understand something, because I get spiritual students, you might be one, that wants other people to be happy and okay. I want them to be awakened. Well, then you're not awakened if you're saying that, because you're wanting something from an ego standpoint. But I want the best for them, Landria. And I say, yes, I know you do. So you're functioning on a higher level, a higher frequency, but the ego still wants something to be different. I know this is a tough one. When you let go of that, you're allowing each of the players on the planet to go through whatever they chose to experience. And that might be the lower density. They may be the murderer or the abuser, and they may never come out of that in this lifetime. Trust me, you don't have to condemn them. They will have their own cause and effect and consequences from that. They will learn from that. It continues on. But that is not judged on the other side, because Christ demonstrated unconditional love no matter what. This is our test. Now, I want you to know that wanting something different, Christ walked on water. The man could have done anything. He could have had the earth open up and, consume all of the people that were trying to murder him. He could have done anything, right? He could have struck them down with lightning. He and nature are one. He had total control of the quantum field. He was the quantum field. He demonstrated that there are no limits. We still don't listen to that, do we? However, he had to go through that journey that he was on that seemed so horrific in order to effect positive change for us. If he hadn't, there would be no demonstration of unconditional love and that we are not finite beings. He demonstrated all of that through that horrible situation. This is no different. Everything that's going on that you say shouldn't be is the denial of what we came here for without experiencing these things that we're going through. There's no demonstration of the contrast for us to know unconditional love and to be in a position to make those choices. So one of my students said, and she's super awakened. I mean, the girl's going into this amazing space. And she said, I see people and they're so dense and I want them to be happy. I want to just shake them and say, you're so powerful and you're amazing. And I want them to go into that space. I said, that's your ego. And she says, oh, no. I'm not unhappy about it. I said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. But you're not even hearing yourself talk and say that you're not okay. And that message is you're not okay. Because I want you to be different, which means I believe that what you're experiencing and doing is not okay. Now you might say, well, how can it be okay? How can it be okay, Landria, when people are doing this and this and this? There is right and wrong. No, there really isn't. And that was what Christ demonstrated. I want to take it to this next level because you guys are ready for this. You've told me that you want to take it to the next level. And by the way, this isn't as popular on YouTube as all the other garbage I could talk about, right? I'm going to talk about the stuff to a smaller audience, and that's you. You are ready to go to that next highest frequency. And that's letting go of wanting other people to be different, but being the change, not sitting around. I call it zero tolerance. We don't tolerate this. We don't say it's okay for you to do these things. We say I'm not going to participate in it anymore, and I'm going to affect change. Because through this love, this unconditional love and acceptance, that's your path and your choices that you made, and there will be your own consequences. I don't need to punish anybody or condemn them or wish them to, fall flat on their face. By going into unconditional love, and seeing them as absolutely perfect, just playing out a role of density, I affect greater change with them. Much greater than if I go into judgment, then I am just dense. And we keep it going. Judging. And I said, have you ever watched Star Wars? Every other movie, the good guys are winning, the bad guys are winning. And at some point, Luke Skywalker realizes that the good guys were no different than the bad guys. They're all just fighting for their own cause. The cause was irrelevant. Oh, no, they're fighting for good. Really? Because they continued the conflict. It had to end. So what do? You say, well, then, what do we allow ourselves to be annihilated? No, you don't. You create something so powerful that they have no effect on you anymore. They have no control over you. And that we are the power of this whole planet. The light beings will not allow that density to control them anymore. But they're not going to fight it. They're going to create the new world. And that's what the new earth is. We're creating it right now. Christ had to go through that. That was what that journey was about. There are people that have to go through the dark night of the soul. They have to go through the lowest density so that they can affect positive change and evolve in their own personal transformation. And those around them will learn from this. So I said to my student, I said, the things that you've gone through with your family and childhood, most of my students all have some kind of trauma in their childhood. I don't think I've met anybody who hasn't. And so, the students, I mean. And so my students are saying, this has had such a powerful impact on them. And I said, yes, this was not something that shouldn't have happened. This should have happened, all planned, all decided in advance, coming here, forgot all of that, so that you could truly experience pain and not being loved and all the things that we've gone through. You get to experience that full bore. I mean, as a human being, a dense human being. But without that, you couldn't experience the pain or lack of love and whatever. And it allowed you to become great and move past it. Now, if you stay in that low density as a victim and they're wrong and you don't forgive and all this other stuff, nothing changes. But you're here to change it. And so I said, every single one of you that have chosen those challenges purposely took that on so that you could show, like Christ did, that it can be overcome. I can love anyways, unconditionally. I can forgive anyways. I can see everyone as just beautiful, dense beings making choices that are destructive. All right? They're not good choices. They're lower density choices, but they're supposed to be there. And we have to allow that. And so when we allow that, we become the parents that say, okay, you did something, it wasn't good, and so, time out. We don't say, okay, honey, that's great, No, we don't. We have to take the higher road and say, okay, time out. Won't be using your toxic stuff, won't be working for you who destroy the planet or animals, won't be eating stuff that has been treated badly with chemicals or tortured in factory farming. You got to do your homework. And so you have to also, if you want to go into that space of total enlightenment, awakening has its levels, and a total enlightenment is when you understand that everything is exactly the way it should be, and to not judge it. To have total acceptance, and this is tough, total acceptance. I can't accept that because you're still thinking as a human being. That's not a human being. The baby isn't a human being. It's no less powerful than the, alcoholic or, on the street that stinks, right? That's swearing at you. They are equal. We all are. They're equal light beings. I know this is tough. If you can grasp this, you'll go into a state of amazing total awakening, and you will stop seeing the boss as a jerk, and you'll realize that's pain and fear. And you're not like, oh, you're I'm awakened and you're suffering. No, it's like you are still in the density and you can make a different choice. But me, by not judging you anymore and hating you because you're not acting the way I think you should, I go into my own awakened state and say, you're still experiencing fear. That's okay. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be the stable light, and I'm going to shine the way for you. Because that's the only way they're going to find it. Their way out of that stinky basement up to the penthouse. You guys know I talk about my father has many mansions. What does that mean? There are endless realities. And there are different floors within these mansions. They're frequencies. And the higher you go, the more beautiful it is, the more open gifts. People are more giving. And then you go higher and higher, and pretty soon you're up there and you have everything you could possibly need. And there are no challenges anymore. You don't need them. Because you love everybody. Now the lower densities can't get up to there. So there's no law of attraction. Nobody's going to attract you or something down to them in the basement. It's impossible. They have to raise their frequency to meet the other frequency. So the law of attraction, throw it out the window. Doesn't exist. It was a term coined before we understood quantum physics, that everything's a frequency. People are like, oh, I'm attracting. You're not attracting to it. You're either and you're in the frequency, you either tune into it or you don't hear it. You're listening to rock and roll going, I want classical music. I want classical music. You got to turn the dial and then tune in classical music. But people are sitting there, I want this, and they don't change their behavior, their thoughts, their judgments. This is wrong. It shouldn't be this way, and that's the ego is suffering. You guys want to come over? I'll teach you how to move past all this stuff. We're going to break through fear. We're going to keep doing it. We're going to break through it and see it, observe it, and stop allowing it to control us, because you can go into a space that you never thought possible. I'll show it to you. Come on over. If you guys are not in my free email list, video list, and you can't just sign up and just, oh yeah, I'll try here this and this once in a while. You got to be on it every moment. So can you accept the fact that Christ could have stopped everything and he didn't? Just like people have to go through their pain in order to learn. And then when they go to their next adventure, they'll say, oh, okay, I got to experience that. I could have made a different choice. I'm going to go now into some other existence, maybe as a human again. And this time I'm going to break the cycle. I would tell my students, I said, you're here to break that cycle of pain and suffering. So if grandma did it and they were abused, it keeps getting handed out, you can break it. Not angry, blame, just say they're coming from their own fear that came from fear for centuries. We're breaking the cycles. And that's what Christ did. He did the ultimate sacrifice. Was it really? Because he knew he was indestructible. There's no ending. Yes, there are moments in time, that linear time, where we experience some pain. Trust me, it's not a problem. you will go to a euphoric state, and you'll realize, even people that die, they'll come back and say, wow, I didn't feel anything. They were outside their bodies, and you can do that too. You hold that power. When you go into an awakened state, that enlightened state, you're out there. You're connected to everything because you are everything anyways. All of it is. Everything you do right now affects everything. No, not just this planet, beyond. Other beings know this. And we will join that energy field. Another illusion, but an amazing energy field. When you're ready to do it, you can do it in this lifetime. Are you ready to do it? I hope you'll subscribe. Please share my videos. You know what? It's tough to keep subscribers with these subjects because it's boring and it's difficult to go into awakening, and conflict is so exciting, it's addictive. Don't go down there. Everything that you see in media is controlled. All of it. Those of us on YouTube, we get squashed too if we're saying all these nice things. So I hope that you will support me and continue to expand into the light and the voice of raising the frequency of the planet, one light being at a time. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.